Hello, and welcome along to Adobe After Effects with your host, Robert Smith. In this part 3 of syncing effects to sound, we're going to add another character. In this case, we're going to add a dog. So to do that, let's have a look at what we've got so far. We've got a kookaburra that's swinging in time to the music and winking along too. Okay, we covered that in the first 2 videos. So here I've got a dog. If I'm looking for my dog, there it is there. I'm going to grab it and drag it down onto the timeline. And what a handsome looking pooch that is. And I'm just going to scale it down a little bit like this. And he's going to hide that horrible little cut there at the bottom of the kookaburra. Looking good. Okay, I'm going to put him about there. And this time, to animate him, we're going to actually use the puppet pin tool to put a slight animation on him. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my, unlock my AIF file on my music layer and press LL again to see my waveform. And then zoom out. I'll use this to zoom out. Oh, sorry, zoom in I should say. Like that. So we can see the first beat of the bar. Okay, now I'm going to grab the dog, actually, and I might just scroll that down a little bit. He's about the right size. Okay, now the tool I'm going to use is this thing here called the puppet pin tool. Now if I click on that, like this, what it does, I'll just click on the image like this and you'll see it becomes an effect called the puppet, and it gives us something called a mesh. So I'm just going to click here, click some points like this, and if you look down here inside the puppet tool in mesh 1 in deform, you'll see I've got a whole lot of what's called puppet pins, and each one of these is one of these pins here. Now the art of using this is to put not too many pins in. So I'm going to click here and just about there. That's all I'm going to do. Okay, and I'm ready to animate, and they are pins 5 and 6. They're the 2 pins I'm going to be playing with. So I'm going to, I know that because if I click down here I can see it's selected up there. So I'm just going to select those 2 with the shift key down, and I'm going to zoom up so I can just see might have to make the image a little bit smaller so I can see puppet pin 5 and 6 and the waveform. Okay, great, let's get to animating. So if I put a keyframe in those 2 like that, I'm going to make him swing over 1 beat. Remember we talked about that's a beat from there to there, from that ridge to that ridge is 1 beat. Okay, what I'm going to get him to do is I'm just going to grab, say, puppet pin 6 by deselecting that. I'll grab this one and I'll just drag him to the left just a little bit, and his head down just a little bit like that, just move them just a fraction. Then I'm going to copy these 2 keyframes here, Command C at the beginning, and go to the next beat of the bar, which is about there, and paste them in just before it like that. And we should get just that tiny little bit of movement, which is what we want. I might zoom out just a little bit. We need a couple of bars to see this in action. So I'm just going to copy these 2 keyframes, the second 2, and Command C. Go to the start of the next bar, which is about there, and Apple V, paste them in. Go to the 2 bars along, do the same thing, paste them. Actually, these are beats, not bars, I should say. And paste them along like this. Let's have a look at that in action. So I'm going to put my current time indicator there, press the letter N to shorten it. I might actually drag that up a bit so we can see it a bit bigger. Let's watch it in action. That's great. There he is grooving away. How good's that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom that out, zoom back out a little bit like this, so I can see both my waveform and my keyframes. I'm simply going to go along the timeline and keep adding those keyframes. So I'll just move to, say, the next bar, which is this one, next beat I should say, which is this one here, and paste them in, oops, like that. Should copy those 2 keyframes first, Command C, and then Apple V, paste them in. Go to the next bar, which is there, and I'll continue doing that all the way along the timeline, and we'll add a little bit more in the next video. Okay, thanks for watching.